So there's breaking political news. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the hour that the president-elect, Donald Trump, added a top economist to his staff in Peter Navarro. Mr. Navarro named the director of trade and industrial policy. So it does bring up questions about the rest of his team. Does Larry Kudlow, for example, have some sort of an edge now to lead the Council of Economic Advisors? I started to talk to Blake about it earlier in the hour. Charlie Gasparino joins us now. I know you've done a lot of reporting on this. Where do we stand, Charlie?
Yeah, I mean, we should point out that Peter Navarro was one of the, and there's the two names that I've heard. Now, maybe there's more names out there, but the two names that I've heard for the Council of Economic Advisors is a key policymaking position within the economic, I guess, hierarchy of the Trump administration. It will be sort of making policy with the president, with the National Economic Council, which is run by Gary Cohn, who's not a supply-sider. So a lot of people wanted a supply-sider. A lot of supply-siders wanted a supply-sider like Larry Kudlow in the CEA job. His main competition was Navarro. Now Navarro's out, and what we're hearing is this could possibly clear the way for Larry Kudlow. Listen, I will say this. Larry is not in there until he's in there, and we should point out that, as Steve Moore pointed out earlier on Cavuto's show, that supply-siders are very annoyed that there are lack of representation within the Trump administration, and they were hoping for Larry to get the job. But it seems like with Navarro now in this trade job, which seems like a much more of an appropriate job for him. He's an economist. He's been very strong on trade, particularly China, our trading with China. That seems like a more appropriate job. This should open up the door for Kudlow. I do know that there are people pushing President-elect Trump for Kudlow. He has raised some questions with Larry because, Larry is a free trader. And Donald came out against that. But, that's where we are. You would think that, and Larry, one thing that Trump likes about Larry is Trump supported him during the campaign. And on top of that, helped him develop his economic plan. So this would seem to open up the door for Larry, but we'll have to see what happens. It is kind of interesting. A lot of supply-siders say this is the chance they've finally been waiting for to get one of theirs in the administration, and it looks like it might happen right now.
Oh, let's say it does for argument's sake. As you say, it does. It won't happen until it happens. But you think about the way Trump has put together his team, separate from the economy. He brings in all kinds of different people from all walks of life, but generally appoints conservatives at the end of the day, even after talking to, who knows, Al Gore, say, and then appoints
Gary Cohn was not a conservative as head of the NBC.
But my point was going to be on economics. It looks like he is going to have some friction, right? I mean, there's going to be different types of approaches in there if Kudlow gets in with Navarro and Cohn.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Gary Cohn, former #2 of Goldman Sachs, is an avowed progressive. I mean, he's a Keynesian, so it'll be interesting. But listen, I'd rather have a debate than a one-sided debate. So, having Kudlow in there, if you're a supply-sider, and I believe lower taxes, that generally leads to economic growth. That's me speaking. That's my opinion. If Larry does get in there, you would like to, that evens up the score. Let me just get into some possible breaking news involving Skybridge Capital, the fund of funds firm owned by Anthony Scaramucci, former Fox Business contributor. We do know, because my producer Brian Schwartz spoken with Dallas money manager Ed Butowski, another guy that's on our air a lot, and he tells us exclusively that he is eyeing a possible purchase of Skybridge Capital, that he wants to be one of the potential bidders. He tells us he's looking to cobble together investors to buy this thing, this fund of funds. It has about $7 billion in assets, and I can tell you, Ed does know a lot of wealthy investors. He's been around the block a few times.
So Scaramucci could take a job with Trump, right?
Well, that's what people have been saying out there, or do something else. We should point out that if successful, he tells Fox Business, Butowski does, that he would change Skybridge's business model away from a so-called fund of funds to a different type of business model. Although what he likes about Skybridge is that it does have a lot of access to big hedge funds. Remember, Skybridge is a fund of funds. It invests money in other hedge funds for the retail investor. He might want to change a little bit of the structure of that. We also hear, just so you know, that Skybridge could be sold to foreign investors. We hear possible Asian investors, possibly a bank is interested. So it's kind of interesting what's going on here. Ed Butowski would be interesting for one Fox Business contributor or a person, guys on our air, to be selling it to another
Charlie,
one
I got to jump in for this breaking news. Let's go to Palm Beach, Mar-a-Lago. The Trump resort down there where the CEO of Boeing has just walked out and is making some comments. This is live. Let's listen.
We're committed to working together to make sure that happens. And I was able to give the President-elect my personal commitment on behalf of the Boeing Company. This is a business that's important to us. We work on Air Force One because it's important to our country. And we're going to make sure that he gets the best capability and that it's done affordably.
What's the delivery time getting for these planes?
Well, that's what we're going to work on together. So we have an active 747 production line, and we're eager to get started on the program. We haven't actually started the build of the airplane yet. So once we finalize the requirements, make sure that it's affordable, we'll launch on building the airplane. We've got a hot production line, and we're ready to go.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
So that was live. We broke into it. Charlie Gasparino still with me from the newsroom. What I took away, we only got part of it, Charlie, was the comments. Remember the tweet from Donald Trump about how expensive Air Force One would be, and now he's meeting with these CEOs, Lockheed and Boeing. I don't know what you make of it.
It's not only that. Donald, and I think this is very dangerous territory, was going out, sending down this through these tweets, crushing the stocks of Boeing and other companies he was tweeting against. Listen, the last thing, that Larry Kudlow would recommend to Donald Trump is to be, basically using his Twitter account to crush stocks and, extract stuff out of U.S. companies. That's not the way it's supposed to work. That's one of the scary things about Donald Trump. The less scary thing is one of the reasons why the market's up and heading to 20,000. He does want to cut taxes. He does want to cut regulations. He wants us to return to more of a free market-based economy.
Right.
So, it'll be interesting to see how this goes forward. I mean, listen, some of this is you got to be tough with these guys. I mean, businessmen aren't exactly nice guys either, right? So the president's being a little tough. That said, you hate to have a guy in office that sits around and crushes stocks of companies who might might rub him the wrong way.
On the Twitter, maybe made nice with them today. The stock, by the way, we showed it Boeing up a little. We were over at the Post earlier. Thank you, Charlie.